So what's your excuse? Is it too cold where you live? Is it too hot where you live? Does it rain too much? Maybe you're the only black person applying for a job. Maybe you're the only female. Maybe that's your excuse for not being better. When I was young, all those things got in my head. Black, not smart enough, single mom, all that own space in my head. If you're allowing people and things and situations to own space in your head, you're losing. You play with yourself. If you lose, it's because you allow life to get in your head. In life, a lot of us believe that we're working much harder than we actually are. We think if we got up early for 4 days, we've earned something. You gotta drop your entitled mindset. It's dead weight. We believe we work harder than we actually have. Trust me, most of us haven't. The one thing in life you gotta realize is this: learn to help yourself. Don't count on other people to help you. But there were some instructors and go right on past the end point. When that happened, everybody stopped talking. Heads would start dropping. And I started taking the soul. At that time, I knew what happened in their mind. They were living off the hope factor. They hoped the instructors would stop running. They hoped the water was never cold. They hoped the weather was good. I wish the water was cold. I wish the instructors keep on running. I wish it could rain. When the ending is unknown and the distance is unknown, that's when you know who you are. Stay hard. Take a day off. No one will know. But keep on thinking too. There's always someone out there who's working harder than you. Know that someone out there is willing to forgo personal desires and comforts. Forgo sleep. Forgo whatever it takes to be better, to be the best. In life, a lot of times, a lot of us have that person out there. There may not be a name or a face to him, but he exists. You make sure in life when they think about that person, you make sure they put a name and face to it. You make sure the name and face is yours. You do the haunting. Get in somebody's head. Own space. In those times when you want to quit, because we're all human, you make sure you remember one thing. All those times and hours and days you sacrifice to be the best. Stay hard. It's because you don't mind getting bad grades in school. It doesn't bother you enough to be mediocre, to be average, to sit around and watch people do great things. You don't mind it. So there's your answer. Your answer is you don't care enough about yourself, so you don't stay in the fight. Whether you like it or not, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, a lot of us are at war with ourselves. And within that war, you have several battles. Those battles are basically choices. No, I'm not talking about a war that you might find in the Coliseum. I'm talking about a war that's in your brain. That war exists because life has so many choices. Within those choices, you gotta make right decisions. But you know what? That. When the alarm goes off in the morning, you don't have to wake up. Don't wake up, don't worry about that. When you're in school, you know what? That, man, it's too hard to study. So don't study. You know what? Don't eat healthy because you don't have to. So guess what? When you fail, don't blame your mom, don't blame your dad, don't blame teachers. The only person you have to blame is yourself. And this world isn't fair. It's fair enough. I see a lot of blacks, whites, women, lesbians out here grinding, getting after it, very successful. So where's your excuse? I see a lot of finger pointing, tons of people blaming other people. One big thing is this: fear. It keeps you making excuses for yourself. Fear lives one place and one place only, and that's in your mind. And I hate to say it, man. Everybody goes, what is your secret, man? What's your secret about business? What's your secret about this? What's your secret about that? The answer is, you see these hands? Hard work, man. I'm sorry, I'm not a magician. It's not magic. It's literally, you're gonna have to wake up and you're gonna have to sit there and say, today's gonna suck. And then when that day is over, you're gonna wake up again and say, the next day is gonna suck. And that's gonna be your life.
We're not achieving our goals fast enough. We're very impatient nowadays. For me, it was good. I didn't have a phone. I was out of this world by myself. It was a race against David Goggins. It wasn't a race against, God, I want to look good for this person or that person. It was me. I got to change myself. So for me, if I lost 5 pounds in a week, I got a feeling. I allowed myself to feel proud of that. I didn't look at, I got to lose 106 pounds. I'm like, man, I went from 297, now I'm 292. In 1 week, man, I'm killing it. We're not proud of ourselves for the small accomplishments. What we need is this monstrosity of a thing to happen and say, I did it. Nah, there's a process that you have to go through, and patience is the process. And if we don't have patience, after a week, I haven't lost 30 pounds, man, I'm done. I'm over it. So that's what I found out with people, man. They're not patient enough to realize and to enjoy the moment, not live in it, just enjoy it. There's no finish line in life, but enjoy that moment. Roger that, man, I lost 5. Let me go 10 next week. So that's the whole thing about it. That's how people lose it. And so you have to be able to really chunk these things down and not allow your mind to get away from you at the worst times. So I became an expert at doing just that. Even though my life gave me a lot of challenges, I made a choice. And those things didn't make me hard. I had to find strength within them. Where I became hard was the discipline, the self-discipline. Key word is self. Discipline is great. Self-discipline makes you a master of yourself because no one is helping you. That's where you really start to callous your mind. You callous your mind not through enduring a hard childhood or a hard life. It's enduring the things that make you uncomfortable, which is we all have this list in our head of the things that we want to stay very clear of. Some of us are afraid of heights. Some of us are afraid of getting up early. Some of us are afraid of cold water. Some of us are afraid of going to college. Whatever it may be, we have this list that we are staying very clear of. You need to get the list, put it in front of you, and start making that list the only list you go from. During this list is how you start to create the calloused mind. You're never going to be able to callous your mind by going to this magical list in the golden tool shed that makes you feel all comfortable and fuzzy inside. There's no callus there. Calluses protect your hands against that hard, nasty, gritty ass bar that you're going to touch thousands and thousands of times. You have to do that to your mind. Your mind has to touch hardship. It has to be uncomfortable. It has to be put in a situation where it's forced to grow. If you're never forcing your mind to grow, there's no calluses. Calluses will never start to grow. So it starts there. One big reason why I can't stand it, public speaking, being on camera, I used to stutter real bad growing up. You're always having to face these demons that come out of everywhere. Because I'm decently successful now, but I've overcome a lot and I have a nice looking resume. But I'm still every day. I do it from my own personal, fears and younger thing about, man, I'll be here stuttering and shit. You got man up, man.